Hey everyone's JackelWolf back in Stoneblock 2 with another 5 minutes. That's how I did it. If you've been following along, you know that we are working our way through every single quest in Stoneblock 2. Last episode, we started off on the cow quest, the fluid cow quests, by crafting the craftable fluid cows. So we crafted the milk fluid cow, the water fluid cow, the lava fluid cow, and the seared stone fluid cow. Now, this episode, we're going to work on the ranching quest, which is to make a cow stall. Now, a cow stall is an item that we can place in the world to house a cow, very similar to the chicken coop, where it will gather all of the fluid cow's resources, which is, of course, a fluid. So to make a cow stall, we are first going to need some gray dye. Now, I do not have a gray dye chicken yet, and I am not at a point where I'm going to be able to, breed two together to get a full 10-10-10 gray dye chicken. So I'm going to focus on a different way of getting dye into this world. Now, that is going to be by using Floral Fertilizer. Now, Floral Fertilizer is very simple to craft. It is simply one piece of bone meal in a crafting table with 2 pieces of yellow dye and 2 pieces of red dye. Now, all of these did come from the chickens we had available. So like I said, they are super easy to make. Now, every single time we right click on the piece of grass, we get a random number of flowers. And I got very lucky here because there is that mystical gray flower that we are looking for. And one thing I forgot to grab is one more piece of bone meal, and we're just going to grab that there. And what we want to do now is we want to maximize the amount of floral petals that we get out of this mystical gray powder. So if I was to break it right now, I would get the small flower and I can make a single petal out of that. But what I want to do is I want to right click on that to make this, he's got the googly eyes, to make this a tall mystical flower, and then I can harvest this with shears. And now, instead of a small amount, I end up getting 4 petals per this tall mystical flower. So that is a lot better output. But if you try to break it with your hand, it just won't work. So you absolutely have to use the shears on that. But I cannot use this mystical gray petal as a dye quite yet. First off, I got to process it using a Pestle and Mortar. Now, to make a Pestle and Mortar, you need a bowl in a crafting table with some wood planks and a stick. And that gets us our Pestle and Mortar. Now, rather than put this down, I'm going to put it back in the crafting table with the mystical gray petals, and that gets us floral gray powder. Now, this is something we can use as a dye while we are making some concrete. So what we're going to need is the floral gray powder in a crafting table with 4 pieces of sand and 4 pieces of gravel. That gets us our 8 gray concrete powders. So we're going to place this down there in our inventory, and I'm going to go and place it right back up in my offhand. And really quickly, what we're going to do is I'm going to right click and break and just keep this going on. I don't want to do this too quickly, or else I'll end up either placing the concrete powder on top of the concrete before I get broken through, or I'll end up breaking through to the water down below. But that has got us 8 pieces of gray concrete, which is absolutely perfect. We're also going to need some hay bales. Now, I'm going to need 2 of them here because I'm going to want to make 2 stalls for this installment. But to make a hay bale, it is simply 9 pieces of wheat in a crafting table, and that gets us our 1 piece of hay bale. Now, next up, we're going to go take that hay bale, put it in a crafting table with 3 pieces of concrete and 4 iron bars, and that gets us our cow stalls. Now, like I said before, the cow stalls are very handy. What we need to do is we need to go and place them in the world. I'm going to separate these 2 just for now, just for demonstrations purposes, but we now have a place to put these cows. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to take this fluid cow and I'm just going to go and place them here in the pen. And you can see they are very different from the actual vanilla cows. But while we're at it, let's go place that seared stone cow in here as well. And I'm not going to put the water or the lava quite yet. I'm going to leave those for a moment. But we now need a way to pick up these cows and put them into the cow stall. Now, the only way for us to do that is with a cow halter. Now, to build a cow halter, you simply need 2 sticks in a crafting table with a piece of leather. Now, we're going to take that cow halter, and one at a time, because they can only hold 1 cow, we're going to bop grab that milk fluid cow out, or sorry, this is the regular milk fluid cow. Put them into that fluid cow stall with a shift and a left click, and that's the same as how we get them out. You need to shift and, right click to get them in and out of that pen. And this pen will be very much like the chicken coop. It will start storing that fluid milk. Now we'll go run over here and we will grab the seared stone, and we're going to come back and shift, right click, and now we've got the seared stone cow up into that cow pen as well. Now, there's a reason why I did it with these two cows and not the lava and the water, is that there are two different ways of dealing with the fluid, drops from these cows. One is to keep them as a fluid, and the other one is to turn it into a solid. So these are two good cows to demonstrate that. Now, if we are going to stick with these as being a fluid, we're going to need something called a fluid storage tank. There are a couple of other fluid storage tanks out there, but this is a very simple one, and it's got some pretty good storage, 64 buckets of any liquid. So this is a good one to start with if you don't have, higher level stuff. But to make a fluid storage tank, it is simply one piece of obsidian and a crafting table with 4 pieces of glass and 4 iron ingots. Now, the next thing we're going to need is a flat fluid transfer node. Now, this is simply a regular fluid transfer node in a crafting table with an anvil, and you end up getting 8 of them. So it is a really, really good return, and it really helps keep as long as you're going next door to somebody, it really keeps us nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this on the bottom of that cow stall. It is now going to pull fluids from that cow stall into whatever I place next to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put looks like extra utilities ran into a problem. Well, that is just wonderful. Okay, guys, so I don't know what that was, but I had a little bit of an error. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that second fluid tank right underneath there, and the fluid will flow down into this tank and then start building up as it builds up. So that is a good way of storing fluid in your world. Next up is going to be how to do it with a solid. Now, what we're going to need to do this with a solid is a casting basin. So to build a casting basin, it is simply 7 seared bricks in a crafting table gets us that 1 crafting basin. Now, one other thing that we are going to need is a flat item transfer node. So very similar to how we made the flat fluid transfer node, we're going to simply take a regular item transfer node in a crafting table with an anvil, gets us those 8 flat item transfer nodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to go and place the flat transfer node on the bottom of the cow stall. We're then going to take the casting basin, place it below that. Now, as you can see, it's already filling up with some of the drops from the cow that has been stored in that tank. And there you go. We have a full block of seared stone in there. Now, I could right click and pull it out, but what I really want to do is I want to place a item transfer node underneath it, and then I'm going to need the basic drawer that I've got handy right here, and we're going to place it right underneath. And there you go. You can see it automatically pulls it down into that storage box. So that basic storage drawer. So as the cow continues to produce fluid, it's going to get put into the casting basin where it's going to harden and then be placed into the world or into the storage drawer as a solid item. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please think about leaving a like and a subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JackelWolf. Also, check out the links below. There will be a description to my, or there'll be a link to my Discord page. I would love it if you stop by to say hi. And that's going to be it for this one. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.